Hey everybody, welcome to this special edition. I always say it's a special, every edition is special, thinking out loud. Um, with me is Katrina Pfannkuch. Hi Katrina.
Hey there, Arizona. How are you doing today? Enjoying spring, I hope.
I am. It is fabulous. Got to take a nice
Yeah.
walk and enjoy the great weather.
Yes. And I thought I should point out to our guests that you and I actually didn't plan to wear the same color. We just showed up in the same color sweater, so you gotta love that. This is what we think spring looks like.
Okay, we have a synergistic energy going here.
Yes. To us, this is spring.
Yep. I wanted to do a really quick shout out to a couple of people in our audience who unfortunately almost never get to watch us live. Carmen Mandic, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. She always watches on the Replay City, and she says that she's going to keep trying to watch us live.
She's awesome. I love her. She's a very sweet lady.
She is. And I know I cannot pronounce your name correctly, Elaine, but there's been a couple times you've been in a show and have said that you were going to watch in Replay City, so I really appreciate it. And Katrina, you want to introduce our guest?
Yes, it's time for our very, very fun, bubbly, energetic guest today. I'm really excited because I think he's going to bring some good energy, especially on a spring day. So, hey, what's better than that?
Exactly.
I'd like to welcome Johann Gauthier, and he is co-founder of Workplace Energetics. His personal title, which I would love, we're going to kind of dig into this a little bit later when we talk with him, but he's the Chief Human Resonance Officer. So he is his co-partner or his co-founder is Sue Elliott, and together they've created some really great ways to bring play into the workplace, to find that resonance, so that you're really clear about, hey, I can show up and be myself and work and find joy in that space. And I'm really excited to introduce you today. So Johann, say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Katrina and Arizona. It's such a pleasure to be with you. I'm so thrilled. I can't believe it's actually happening. It's here.
Yeah, and what's the great part is that I know that you run this one fantastic community on Google+, and that's how we met. So I thank you so much for giving me a shout out and having me join, because the Workplace Energetics community is one of my favorite communities on Google+.
It is mine too.
Thank you so much. Both of you are, I feel that I'm blessed that you two are part of the community, and as we were saying just before this call, this feels like we're in family, and so really looking forward to our discussion.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind why Workplace Energetics just had to come into being. I want to know why this had to happen for you.
What a great question to start. And before I answer, I want to say hello to you, Sue Elliott. I know you're watching. And Sue Elliott is our Chief Energy Officer, our CEO. And yes, this Workplace Energetics is a product, a creation of our energies. Sue is joy and I'm play. And so together we're bringing a combination of joy and play into the world. And so, yes, there's so much to do. And what we're saying is, what we're bringing is personal growth into the workplace. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel. There are many tools and tips and strategies out there, and we're saying just be with your energy, receive people, be present, live moment by moment, and slow down. Rather than being focused on doing, just focus on being. So I mean, we're ready to bring that message of releasing fear, releasing resistance, amplifying personal power, energizing people and businesses, and creating forward momentum and achieving epic results in a way that feels really simple, really easy. And we have, our suite of tools is really intuitive. So we can't, I mean, we're so, it's a baby. The business has been there for just over 3 weeks. So we're so thrilled to bring this to the corporate world and to business entrepreneurs and owners.
Yeah, where were you when I was in a job? I might have enjoyed it a lot more.
Well, you know, it was really funny when I ran that poll, and I haven't pulled it up, but it seems like most people are kind of in the middle.
Hmm.
Sometimes work is fun, and sometimes it's not fun. Um,
Mhm.
But I like how you talked about the fear piece because, I mean, I'm not sure if other people have had this experience, but there were times when I had jobs that I just couldn't, I didn't feel like I fit there or I wasn't really sure what they wanted from me. So it was kind of this fearful state all the time, which is very uncomfortable. It's not very productive at all.
Yes, I mean, we spend a lot of time at work, and
Hmm.
and it's how we measure success as well.
Hmm.
To me, we're chasing all the time, and we're chasing we're running after our breath. We're chasing, you know, I think what's needed is really to celebrate people where they are, for
Yep.
who they are, and it's a way of celebrating the gift of your humanity. And so for any manager, any leader out there, you're putting people first. So when you're putting people first, it's not about you. If there's business transformation is much about people, and you want to convince people to achieve higher results. Well, convince them to their hearts. And once you've gotten their hearts, anything becomes possible. But it's true. I mean, we spend a lot of time in the workplace, and I love to quote Michael Bernard Beckwith here because he says human beings are so interesting. They're so interesting, and so we play up in our mind. We get stuck in our minds, and I've done it. I
Hmm.
mean, who hasn't done it? And the tendency is that we are trying to achieve whatever we're trying to achieve by creating our own resistance. And so
Mm.
by that I mean, whatever comes to you, you don't fully receive that, and and you're putting your own judgments, or you're putting, while the person is talking, you're already finding reasons why not to do something, or why this needs to be done, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think by being just fully present with
Hmm.
yourself, we discover that gift that, oh, okay, like Sue and I are doing it on the day to day. We open a space, we hold that space together,
Hmm.
and whatever comes, it's energy. Our message is about energy. You go where the energy leads you. So if something comes up and, oh, there's either some form of resistance, or we need to talk about something, or going to joy sometimes it isn't possible right away, but
Hmm.
when you hold a space, you recognize that, okay, I am in a space where I'm not so joyful right now, and that's fine. If, like I keep saying, if I feel like crying, I'm going to cry. If I feel like angry, I'm going to. I mean, I'm not going to download it on people here, but my point is, if you are in a state that you are in an energy space, just be with it,
Hmm.
rather than try to move through it. And when you're trying to move through that energy, which might be some form of resistance, you're going to find out it's really slow. I mean, things are going to be so difficult to move forward, and so just be with that energy, and then it's easier to go to joy.
Right. Well, and I also know that you're speaking from experience in terms of making some big shifts and changes lately. So I would love if you could kind of talk a little bit about that and sort of talk mostly to the what led to the decision for you to make a big life change and step into this new energetic direction.
Wow. Oh, yeah, that's such a great question, Katrina, and I'm thankful you're asking it. Well, yeah, so I basically, I find myself in a situation where I wasn't fulfilling my higher purpose. And, I've went through a 17-year career in the public service in Canada, and whoever is watching right now, public servant, I want to say, like I so believe in the mission of the public service, whether it's in Canada or in the U.S. or other countries, for people watching us. To me, it's that sense of mission and that sense of service and honoring people and receiving. I mean, those are values that I keep, that I hold dearly. But I guess, at some point you are faced with that opportunity of, where am I getting my joy? Where am I
Mm-hmm.
getting my energy? What energizes me on the day to day? And I went through a process in the last 2 years where I really expanded my networks outside of the public service, and I met people like you,
Mm-hmm.
founded the community, and really had lots of fun. And so at some point I went like, okay, I mean, that's what I like to do on a day-to-day. And when Sue and I met in April last year, in 2014, you know, it was through a common friend, Akim Novak.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Akim. Thanks for that great connection. And, you know, Sue and I just went from there. I mean, we never planned to launch a business together, but
Mm-hmm.
at some point, and this speaks to energy too. You go with your energy, and you go where, you know, if I feel good about something, that says a lot. If I go to bed and I feel good about something, and the next day it's the same, and the week after, 6 months after, it's the same, well, maybe where life is leading me. So that's how we gave birth to Workplace Energetics, and I resigned from government, and I did it with a sense of accomplishment. You know, the day that I went to my former office, I was so happy to see my former bosses, colleagues, and we cried, we gave each other hugs. I mean, I have had so much fun in that workplace, and in many respects, you know, I learned a lot about myself too.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and now Workplace Energetics came to life, and that's just a blessing too. So.
So what are some of the most common things that you find when you're kind of working with people specifically? I mean, obviously you've talked with a lot of folks and their struggles in the workplace, but what do you see as a common challenge, and you know, maybe a simple way to help people reframe it?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So yeah, the way I would answer that is it depends where you are. You know, you might be a senior executive, you might be a leader, you might be a manager, you might be a person that is responsible for delivering, you know, key products, services, answering customers. We're all human beings. You know, I've been an executive, I've been a manager, I've been an employee. I've went through all those motions,
Mm-hmm.
and the best, I guess, the advice that just breathes into me right now is just be yourself. Don't try to be something that you're not. And whenever I know that when I became a manager, and particularly in an executive, the higher up you go in the ranks, the more alone you can be, because there's so much. Like, I have a lot of respect and admiration for people in those positions, because you know, it's easy to finger point, it's easy to blame, it's easy to shame people, but at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We get up in the morning. Some of us have children. I have 3 children. You know, you get home after your day, and you get to, you know, and you're probably running all day. You know, answering emails, talking to people, and it's that frenzy, you know. So you get home, you do supper, and then it's homework. In my case, with the kids, and then I'm catching my breath, and then we get to bed, and so finally I have time. And so my point is, make room, create space within your days, and do it intentionally and consciously, where you're going to take care of yourself and really invest in your personal growth, because I think that's the single biggest tool that we underestimate, how powerful the return on that investment is.
Yeah.
When you create space for yourself. And by that I mean, like, the way I start my days is I will meditate. But whenever I wake up, first thing I say is thank you. And I learned that from Wayne Dyer when I was, you know, listening and watching and reading Wayne Dyer. That's a practice that so that really spoke to me. So I incorporated that into my life. Thank you. Thank you. I say 3 times. So it's like I'm creating a habit on a day-to-day, and then I start meditating. Right now I'm reading Panache Desai's Discovering Your Soul Signature.
Yeah.
And I really love this book because it's a 33-day meditation practice that starts in the morning, afternoon, and evening. And that just creates that moment, you know. And in my calendar, I will send myself a notice where, right now I need to stop, pick up my book, and read. I stop everything and I read. And
nice.
So whatever frenzy I have, I need to read right now.
That's kind of like, I started this. I read a scientific study that said that just like we sleep in 90-minute cycles, our productivity runs in 90-minute cycles. So I actually work for an hour and a half, and then I take a half an hour break.
Good for you.
Oh my goodness, you guys are great.
It works. It so works, but you can't do that. Like, I could never gotten away from doing that in my last job.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm happy to hear that. yeah, I guess once you have a practice that speaks to you, that resonates, then whenever there's a day where I'm not doing these kinds of things, I feel off. Like I feel like, what's going on with me? Oh, yeah, I forgot to do that. So then, I mean, it's a habit, and I finish my days by meditating too, and the way I work is I listen to EDM, like I listen to electronic dance music. Whenever I have something that I need to pump, I will just raise the beats per minute, and then I'm just flying, like I'm literally flying, you know, at the joy level, and I'm like literally dancing around my desk and go, okay.
It's awesome. I love that. Yeah, and I think Arizona's got a good comment that she wanted to show too, because your energy is inspiring someone to ask a question.
Yeah, we have several people in the audience. Barbara Quick is here. Dave Moore is here. Ron Schneeberger is from Florida. Juniper, I do believe. Hi, Ron. And he said employees should be able to have fun at work, but still respect the employer and do the job that they're hired to do.
Of course. Of course. I mean, that's such a great question. Thank you, Ron. To me, work there's that dance. I love to use the word dance because, yes, I mean, of course we're getting paid for our service, and it's important to show up and be our best. But from a personal growth perspective, it's a mutual relationship where, you know, we're giving to each other. So rather than taking and depleting our respective energies, we go to what energizes us. So, you know, and in many workplaces out there, people feel depleted, and so no matter, you know, and there's a lot of disengaged employees out there. And to me, the ones that are the most disengaged are probably part of your best employees. They just need to be stimulated, energized. So go where their energy is, find out what really stirs them, and then align the task or whatever needs to be done along with their energies. And good chances you're going to be surprised by the level of productivity and what these people are capable of doing. So to me, the modern workplace needs to, in some cases, be turned upside down, where don't focus so much on the task, don't focus so much on the products, on what needs to be done. Just go where people are, meet people where their energy is, and just light up that spark.
And that's part of what you do, right? That's part of what you and Sue are doing when you're going into these places and working with companies, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, thanks for the question. I mean, that spirit of discovery, of being curious, and of being appreciated. And we're not your typical business consultant in the sense that to us, we meet people where they are. People are, nothing is wrong here. Nothing is broken. We're all come with our own brilliance and our own extraordinary gifts and skills and talents, and that's human resonance in action. Go where people's gifts are, listen, be attentive to what those gifts are, and then amplify, allow people to be a champion of people's talents, and amplify their own power. Allow people to, I mean, personal growth is not something you do when you're at work, at home. Do it. Take care of your people. Be interested. Be curious. Be appreciative. And, yeah.
Yeah, Arizona is also great at that. Her community. It's one of the things that's so wonderful about her.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Sue Elliott has a comment for us. She says, "Hi, Sue. It's so nice to meet you." She says, "We've all experienced workplaces that suck the life out of us." Yes, we have. Thank you for the opportunity to look at what energizes us.
Thank you so much, Sue. That's such a great question. So, yeah, energized work is our hashtag. But, yeah, I mean, I've experienced those kind of places where I work, and I felt like the energy was, life was sucking the I mean, I wasn't really energized. And, you know, my own experience there would be to say, just be with that. Oh, if I feel that I'm depleted at the end of my days, why? So you start asking questions, and you start acting as an observer of reality rather than, how many times was I trying to go through that motion, go through I mean, I'm not pointing fingers and people. That's not the issue. The issue is there is a lot of pressure. There is a lot of stress. We're living in a context of scarce resources, and that creates, in and of itself, all the conditions for toxicity. And the human body is built in such a way that you need that energy to be expressed. The more you are exposed to stress, the more you need to regroup, center yourself, or have a room or a place, ideally in the workplace, where you can talk freely about these things, and then you build that resiliency, which makes you stronger. So no matter what stress you have, you're able to withstand stress. But we need a period to renew ourselves, and that's why I emphasize in my life meditation and calmness, tranquility, and just, I love, Katrina, when you were posting about birds that you see on the day. But it's true. I mean, so it's like life is happening, and you take time to appreciate what's surrounding you rather than I'm running, I'm doing, and then okay, why am I getting at the end of the day and don't feel like I've done anything? Because life is just fascinating.
Yeah, and well, it's funny, as you were talking, this question popped into my head about bosses, because we can show up and do our work and really be present, but you can still have a boss that's terrible. I just had the worst luck with bosses. I think the universe was just trying to tell me, just do your own thing. do your own thing. Working for another person is probably not for you. But I struggled a lot. It created a lot of fear for me in going to work, because I was like, oh, am I going to make this person frustrated again? Because they were working out their own energy as a manager. They weren't sure how to be effective in what they were doing. So what kind of suggestions would you have for people that do have a boss that's kind of all over the place?
Yeah, and we've all experienced that to some extent. Great question. One in which a lot of people will relate. And to me, it's a dance between trying to fix something and surrendering, letting go. And obviously, when you're paid and you're going there on the day-to-day and you're exposed to something that frustrates you, I mean, the logical thing to do is to speak up and hope that you're going to be received for who you are. And if that's not possible, then create more space within you. To me, the single biggest powerful act of leadership is self-empowerment. The self-love and the self-compassion that you give yourself is something that you own. And nobody else but you can do that. And the more that you do and nurture that, the more it grows. And that's the one biggest thing I would suggest. And at the end of the day, if there's a lack of openness, if there's a lack of possibility, you want to work in a setting where possibilities are always present, where we're able to be curious and get to know one another. I mean, we're all there and showing up with our humanity. And what I'm saying is focus on the small things. Energy is everywhere, and one of the things Sue mentioned to me a few times, and I just want to say that, not just because she asked a question, but I feel like that's such a great example, and it's hers. So, where the photocopier is. You get to the photocopier, and you can't find the paper, and you lose precious time, and you get frustrated. Oh, why is it that every time I'm getting to the photocopier, I can't find that paper? And that staple is out of staples, and everything is not going well. Well, guess what? What if you sometimes those are just whispers too. I mean, one of the things I love about Panache Decides, and he's emphasizing that gift, of everything that's surrounding you is kind of whispering a message. And so if you slow down and you hear that whisper, then, because I mean, if you don't hear that whisper, there's a good chance that that's going to transform into something else.
Mm-hmm.
So mainstream, you may get more frustrated. So be attentive to life always around you. And if your boss is saying something to you, receive it as a gift rather than, I'm going to be frustrated no matter what. Nobody's perfect, and we all have something to learn today.
Yes.
At the end of the day, take care of yourself. That's, I would say, the biggest advice.
Yes.
I love what David Moore says here, because I think it resonates so much with what you're saying. Is he's saying we are human beings, not human doings, and that is so freaking true.
Yeah. I want to say hi to Dave. Hi, Dave. Thank you for that question. Well, yeah, I think you said it. You said it all, Dave. And yeah, when we're focusing on doing, we're not paying attention. We're really chasing after something. And that's, you know, in most workplaces, we're focusing on doing because those are the tangible results. Those are the way that we're measuring success. And to me, that speaks about human resonance. When we focus on being, then you respect the life. Everybody, you know, is coming to work. That's a huge chunk of life that's coming to you, and receive it as a gift. Respect that life and allow that life to emerge and to resonate, to be amplified, and to energize everything that you're doing. Like each and every one of us as gifts. And when that being, with a collection of so many stories, are just allowed to be, you might, I mean, before our hangout, I learned stuff about you two. And when you approach interaction, you know, relationship with that spirit of curiosity and wonder, and as a kid, you're bound to be surprised and be wondered all the time and be like, wow. You're going like, wow. So you're going from one wows to, like, who doesn't want to work from one wow to another, right?
Totally. Arizona, I feel like there was another comment you wanted to show, and I maybe I'm wrong about that, but
I mean, we have some great comments. Sue Elliott says, we all come with our own brilliance and gifts and talents. Be a champion of people's talents. Amplify their power. Take care of your people. Be interested, be curious, and be appreciative. And I think that's where all leaders should be. And I think that we need to start that process with ourselves. You know, even for solopreneurs, we have to kind of sometimes lead our clients. Well, we can't do that if we're not, you know, being in the moment.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. So if you could, you know, maybe elaborate on some tips for those folks that don't necessarily go to a job every day. I'm sure that there's some insights that they can use when they're sort of interacting with their individual clients or learning to build their own self-awareness, because what you were saying, what you build up, you get to keep. So, you know, sometimes you end up doing that and helping your clients do the self-growth piece without realizing it.
Well, I'm so glad that you are asking this question because you are creative, Katrina. So, like, bring that spirit of creativity everywhere you go. And I love creativity from that perspective because you don't need, you know, in order to be creative, you don't need to be a Picasso. Everybody brings a gift of being creative, and, you know, and there's so many soulpreneurs out there, and I so love soulpreneurs. I'm so thankful that both of you are here. And to me, it's, you know, building a relationship with a client is much about being attentive, listening, and receiving whatever that person is saying, and asking empowering questions, and just sitting back. I mean, Sue, I'm going to laugh because Sue does this very well, and she does it very well with me too. So, but that's a true gift that she has, and that, you know, whenever you approach a client with that perspective, that, you know, to me, it's about that mental frame that there's going to be magic created here. So even before anything is said, you're open to possibilities, and something is going to emerge that is going to wow you. So it's that gift of asking a question to just allow that person to open up, and then you just build on that with that spirit of I'm receiving. That person is opening. I mean, for a person to open up and be transparent and be vulnerable, I mean, that is huge. And so just receiving that gift of daring greatly, as Brené Brown said, to dare greatly to show up, be yourself, be vulnerable, and receive that. And don't try to direct the conversation. Go with that person's energy. And, I mean, my experience with Sue and others is you end up 10, 15, 20 minutes down the road and you just laugh a lot. You allow people to jump into their greatness and jump into what they have to offer and what they're experiencing. And the more that you approach life with that spirit of discovering what people care about, then you go, wow, that's a real gift. I'm so happy that you're saying that, and then you can build something from there.
Well, and that's one of the great things about being in the workplace energetics community is that you, from the very beginning, have always been great about sharing things, but you're sharing your energy, but you're sharing your connection and how you feel to what other people share. And that's a very unique gift. It's like you're not just saying, hey, here's another quote with some stuff on it that you can read and feel inspired today. You're sharing that energy with actual people in a way that resonates with you, and then that can sort of travel out to other folks.
You're so kind. I receive your kindness. It makes, there's a lot of warmth at my end here. I think a lot of words melting.
Am I making you blush?
I'm happy that the light outside is coming down a bit. But no, Katrina, you're so generous in your comment. But, I feel very privileged because people like you just contribute to that resonance. I mean, I always look forward to Tuesdays and Thursdays with you because I know those are the times that you're going to post. And I'm building that anticipation. Whenever, I know that something is going to come up, and then it's like a kid. You're like a kid in a candy store. So that's my playful side. I say, okay, Katrina typically posts around this time, so I'm going, I can't wait. And then,
nice.
And then I read and then I go, wow. And that's a real gift that you are allowing people to really reflect.
Thank you.
And I really, and that's how I don't try to put on a show here with the kids. I just am myself, authentic, genuine, and thank God if I've built a community where people feel that they can be themselves. Because I mean, we're all on the same planet here, and we're all here to support each other and whatever gift that we have to offer. And I received yours in that spirit, and we've seen in the last couple of weeks where I get more excited than typically because I just allowing that energy to manifest more, and I'm just wow.
You're following your dream now. That's the great part, right? It just happens to flow.
With Sue, it's so easy.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit before about how you're interacting with specific people at work and how that energy gets stuck, or as Arizona pointed out, like when you're working with specific clients and that might feel a little like you're stuck. But how does energy get stuck? Because we're talking. Yeah, and how do you move past that part, right?
Exactly. How do you get it unstuck?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I would answer that from a three sort of layer perspective. I think that many workplaces out there, to me, we're human. So like Dave said, we're human beings, and if we're human beings, which we are, the number one thing is light. We need to allow light to come in. The more light that comes in and gets to be expressed, it's really love that we're building. So, in my former office, I was working in a cubicle. So the point there is, you get up in the morning, you're in the bed. That's a box. That's your first box that you have. You go in the washroom. That's another box. And then you leave the washroom and you do your lunch. So you put your lunch in a little box. You open the fridge. You get your eggs. That's the fridge. That's another box, by the way. And then you go to the oven. That's another box. Oh, and then if you drive to work, well, that's the box car. And if I was taking the bus, so I was hopping on the bus. and then getting to work, and in my box cubicle putting my things into another box, belongings, and then sitting on a chair in front of a box computer. Then you're going to meetings into another box. If I, meet my superior in the morning, early morning, I would enter her box office, and you get the picture, right? So workplaces are built in a way that, we're living in a cubicle in a box all day long. Can you imagine your life in a box? I can't breathe here. I'm out of breath.
Yeah.
So if you focus on light, and thank God there's many workplaces that are changing the way that work gets done. That there's more air, more collaboration, open offices, and that comes with challenges as well. But the point is that's much more preferable that physically than just going from boxes all day long. And then it's how energy gets received, given, and managed, generally speaking. And to me, that's one of the biggest challenges we face in all workplaces across the globe is, as human beings, we've been going at this for 37 minutes now, and we've been exuding a lot of energy. But can you imagine if we've been going for 37 minutes frustrated? That is really not fun. And working is a dance. You co-create, you play with other people, and whenever you're not received or listened or heard or acknowledged, and not allowed to be who you are, and you want to create that flow. Work is about speed of execution, so you want to help people. I haven't met anybody that wants to go to work and just sit behind a computer and don't talk to anybody, don't send a single email, don't do anything. You're getting paid to do something. People want meaning, so create meaning and allow people to create their own speed. And as sole entrepreneurs, I'm sure. You do that all day long, right? You generate your own energy. So.
Oh yeah.
Manage energy, lead people.
Yeah, well, and I think at the same time, though, there are clients that you notice. Obviously, part of what I do for my work is help people get past those blocks. But if I'm helping someone with a completely different task, they still may have those same blocks in their flow. They just aren't in the position where they're asking for help with them. So that's a very interesting dance to have to work with too. People aren't always ready to see those things, but if they're not, you kind of just know when something's off. You don't really always know exactly that you're stuck. I think people point the finger first.
Yeah, no, and this is what I was, going to say next is, it's such an easy thing to say, or to start blaming and shaming people. Or just going like, that damn not supposed to say this line, that photocopier, you find a reason to download your frustration. But to me, acting responsibly is also owning up to your energy. Is if you feel frustrated, it's okay. You want to blame the computer, but blaming other people is not going to resolve whatever you're dealing with. So, if you need to take a break, go outside, buy yourself a latte or whatever, go around the block, take a break if you can, or if you can't, just center yourself, listen to your alarm, stop and meditate, go to Panache de Sante, do whatever you need. But slow down. Speak slowly and observe your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. We're just beings, we're focused on a higher consciousness. Our thoughts are there as, it's like the monkey brain, oh, you're supposed to do that, Johann. Katrina, oh, you're not doing this right. Oh, Arizona, what's going on with you? And then, if we attach our energies to those things, it's going to grow. So just like, oh, and then, oh, monkey brain goes, oh, that's funny. That's funny. So you want to be present right now? Okay, just be present.
Yeah. Well, and, I remember that during our pre-show meeting, you had said something so interesting because it really takes something that's a common thought and turns it on its head a little bit. You had mentioned that, managers need to lead and energy needs to be managed. So if you could talk about that a little bit, it'd be great, because I think that applies to so many things, not necessarily just in the workplace, but where you're leading in your own life, or in those places where you feel that other people are leading in your personal life too.
Yeah. Thank you for the question and for the opportunity to go into details and explain what I mean by that. And this is very much a co-creation between Sue and I. And most often people are managed. And when you focus on managing people rather than manage energy, then you consider people. You're not putting people first most of the time. So you're not honoring people's gifts. You're not serving. You're going to view people as assets, and you're going to take as much juice from people to produce something, and then you're not going to really celebrate whatever people do. So we all need to do stuff, but rather than celebrate when a project is done 6 months from now or a year, but good chances are, if people are like, the life is sucked out of them on a day-to-day, as Sue has mentioned, where you're going to get to a point of celebration and you're going to forget about celebrating because you're so tired, exhausted. And so what we're saying is manage energy. Lead people. As leaders, as managers, one of the key roles is, you provide that vision, that frame, and for people to really do their job. And you allow people to participate in that visioning. And okay, why are we here? What are we here to do? Who are our clients, and where's the revenue going to be generated? How is it going to be generated? And what do we need to do to get there? And then you just get out of the way. Just allow people to do what they're good at, and then just be a cheerleader, be a champion. And so people listening are going to go, Johann, that's not realistic. You need to manage performance. Focus on allowing people to flourish. They're going to develop and grow. Like, I love your beautiful flower, you put for the show, Arizona. And so treat them as they're blooming. I mean, this is a time of renaissance here. We're in spring. Allow people to grow. Plant a seed, and then just water that seed every day. And manage that energy. Oh, does the seed need more water? Maybe more sun. Maybe we could just gather around and take turns in giving water. Treat people like that, and manage their energy. See, be a champion of resonance. Whatever energy intake, giving, receiving they need, go there. Oh, today you need something else. Oh, thank you for saying it. I'll give it to you. That's all.
So you're actually nurturing people.
Yeah.
Which I think is awesome. Much better than the micromanagers.
Yeah.
Well, you may get something really good as far as result in the short term, but what does that do in the mid and long term? People are going to be depleted, and I think this is a key retention issues too for workplaces. If people get home, one of the things that Sue and I have looked at is Barry Waymiller, and one of the metrics that they're using is how many divorces are people getting, and and what they've discovered is by nurturing and taking care of people, people get home and have a lot of energy to spend with their families, with their spouses, and they want to go back to work and give more the next day, and that's really the best way to measure how successful you are. I mean, that's one way that we found pretty original, but true. I mean, it's based on people's lives,
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you, Arizona, but this conversation has been amazing. And I'm out of questions. I'm not sure if there's anything else that I can think of right now. So do you have any other questions for Johann?
I do not, but we have a shout out in the audience for you, Katrina.
Oh,
Jeremy
nice.
Murphy he's been fabulous. When you go through the thing, he's been leaving all kinds of cool hashtags. So thank you, Jeremy. He says, I agree with Katrina Pfannkuch. Independence in work is best for many of us. You can go your own way.
I agree. I'm much happier now doing that.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So are there any closing thoughts that you have, Johann, or anything else? Any tips or other ideas that you want to leave folks with today?
Well, thank you so much for. I will start by saying thank you. Really feel blessed uh, and grateful for this. This has been 45 minutes of pure joy for me. You two are amazing. You put up such a great show, and you don't talk to each other, but you come up with the same color. I love the synchronicity here. So, and it's funny because you're wearing blue and I'm wearing pink. So, we're
We switched gender roles today.
exactly. So, like your poster behind you, Katrina. So there's a good balance, right? And I really hope that people are getting a great feel for what workplace energetics is all about. Sue and I are bringing joy and play, and those are some of the higher energy frequencies that you want people to play and achieve from those higher energy frequencies. And if your people and your business is slow, if it's sluggish, if people are finger pointing, if people are not collaborating, if your customers are not raving fans, and if you don't have that consistency of quality products or experiences that you're offering through your brand, we're saying, it's okay. In fact, you're succeeding more than you think, and because that's really the ground where all of the seeds can start to be nurtured in a different way. So, rather than sometimes, I mean, when things are not going well, that's probably the best area, the best place to be to really turn things around. And we're there. What Sue and I are doing is really allowing you and your people and your business to really, see what's in the invisible. Sometimes, I mean, we spend so much time at work that we're going like, okay, like, gosh, I get at the end of the day, my head's spinning. Where are things? I haven't done anything. Like people are sick today. They don't want to work. I feel the frustration. I just close my door and just leave me alone. And and we're saying it's okay. I mean, it's leading and delivering consistency of quality products can be really hard. And what we're saying, it's easy. Just allow the energy, yours and others, to emerge. We are there to help you connect with your personal power and amplify it, and want to work from that space where you're energized. Sue typically goes, yeah. You want to work from that space, like, yeah. You're like going like, I want to, celebrate. You get to, thank God it's Friday, and you're happy because you get to celebrate what you have done, rather than, I'm so happy that the weekend is here. I can't wait. Don't want to get. So, but it's okay. If you're a leader out there, you're listening in, just go on to our website, workplaceenergetics.com. And for those of you listening, I was saying I'm going to give you a scoop too tonight, so maybe that's the time. So, a big announcement. We're going to start, Sue and I are going to start a tweet chat.
Oh, cool.
On March 31st at 7 p.m. Eastern. So go on, for those of you that have been energized and inspired, go on to Twitter and leave us a nice message, whatever you feel like sharing on Energize Work, and we'll see you next couple of weeks from now on Tuesday at 7. So thank you.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for sharing your infectious energy today. It really was so great. And I know we say this all the time, but it went very, very quickly. It was like a blink.
It was amazingly fast.
Yeah. So anytime, again, you want to come on and talk about other cool stuff, I know that you're going to be developing really cool processes and just in the interactions you're going to be having with future clients. So I'm sure you'll have some good stories too. So.
And, Sue has been so awesome at commenting. She's going to have to be warned that I may be contacting her to come on the show too.
Let's make sure to bring her next time.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you, Arizona, for doing an awesome job with fielding the comments and stuff like that, and just being present. So thank you, both of you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for the questions and your pure hearts and light. Such a great way to start spring.
Yes.
And I have to give a thank you to Katrina because she is such a fabulous interviewer. And I'm planning on learning as much as I can from her.
Oh, thank you, darling. Well, you everybody have a great, fantastic weekend and happy spring.
Bye, y'all.